friends no more, or I get dirt on my shoes. I don't mind climbing 8 more floors, 'cause these stairs are all heading to you. I don't wait for tomorrow's sunshine when I feel it today. But when it's cold in the dead of winter, remember that snow melts away. One more cold drink, one more roll, one more dance before the doors get closed. Please remember, enjoy the show. Let's get happy before we get old. We don't need plans or a fancy agenda. Well, let's just see where it goes. We got no care for the way people stare at the dust and the dirt on our clothes. Hey, my friend, we'll never say
Well, come on, everybody. Come on into the Cajun Cooking Experience. I'm Spuddy. Darren, I see you out there already. I see you on YouTube. I was told last week that YouTube, the colors are a lot brighter. Is that true? And I'm glad to see somebody come in on YouTube. Spread the word, because a lot of people don't do Facebook anymore. So that's why I'm going to YouTube. That way more people can see it. But tonight, we were supposed to do a show. I was supposed to do a show with somebody. What's up, Tim? I see you up there on YouTube too, brother. I heard you in Minnesota now. So we're supposed to have somebody with me tonight. She had to postpone because she had something that came up, because she's trying to, she's getting the business started and all. So we're putting it off to the end of next month. So tonight, I'm going to shoot it by myself tonight. I say, Charmaine, all right, Lucy. So what we're going to do tonight, one of my favorite dishes. I was flipping between snap beans and loose meat spaghetti sauce. I love a spaghetti sauce with loose ground meat in it. I just love that flavor. And what I'm doing is, I'm actually going to make it with some green onion deer sausage. So I've got a mixture of deer and pork, green onion, and garlic in there. So you see, I don't have to bring any garlic in here. Now, if I wanted heavy garlic, I would add some. Or maybe you can come in with a little granulated garlic if you want it. But this sausage, this deer sausage that we made is pretty well garliced up. So we're going to go ahead and use that. Let's go ahead and take a look at all the ingredients we have. Well, wrong table. That's the pot. So look at here. Look at all the colors that we're going to have tonight. This is what I like about cooking, especially with the tomato sauce. I love putting all these colors in. Some carrots, some parsley. We have some tomatoes, rotel, onions. I love to use 2 different kinds of onions. I got the red onions and also the white. Different color bell peppers, celery, a little chopped up on it. And we're just gonna bring this thing to life right now. Then on this side of the table, got my tomato sauce. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to bring a little roux into this so that we don't have to use tomato paste, but we have to or we will. Tomato paste has a strong bite to it. So if you have to put it in, you will. And there's nothing wrong with putting it in. But I'm going to try to put a little Cajun into it and make it with a little roux. So what I'm doing tonight, and you have to be real careful when you do this. I'm using olive oil. The Italian cooking with Italian dishes always call for olive oil. Get into the Mediterranean diet, the Mediterranean area. Olive oil is a huge thing. You go back in biblical days, this is what they use. Olive oil to do their cooking, or they also use olive oil for their lanterns. So let's go ahead and get our onions started. I ain't gonna lie. I like to put these different colors in of the onions just because it looks good. And we're going to keep working these onions down and all our vegetables down before we bring our meat in. Now this meat, I was going to do green beans, like I said. Then I saw this meat in the freezer, and I couldn't get my mind off of it. The sugarcane farmers can help with that tomato paste bite. Let's see, Lucy. That's my sugar cane farmers right here. You know I got to show them some loving. Because that's all my buddies. And one day I'm going to get one of them to come cook on here with me. They just kind of bad to do that. So the spaghetti sauce, something really popular these days. But where did it come from? Where did that start? You know, it was called marinara sauce. How did they get that name? Think about back in, way back, the mariners, Italian people that would go out, explore on ships or do ship trading. They were the mariners. So what they liked a special sauce that they could eat out while they're there and when they got back, while they were on the boat. And marinara, it actually translates to seafaring or sailor style or mariner style. So you get it? These mariners while there, and the sauce wound up just being named after them. So the red sauce wound up being called marinara sauce. Now you hear it also sometimes, you hear it called ragu. What exactly is ragu? And you see the little ragu in the jar, ready to use and all. Ragu is just like a seasoned meat stew. And they would use the cheapest cut of meat because that's where your flavors were. Because the cheapest cut of meat, you keep stewing it down. Now, don't think of a meat stew like we make it, build a roux, make a stew. It's not like that. They were stewing that meat down. And the meat and the sauce would make what they would call a ragu. And of course, as time goes on, things get different definitions. We change what they call something 100 years ago would mean something that we call like a ragu right now would have been different 100 years ago. It would still been a meat sauce. It just would have been made differently. You go back and look in old newspapers and see some of these recipes. These recipes will blow your mind because we wouldn't even think of mixing this stuff together. We see people making a gumbo and they put round steak in it. That kind of takes you back a little bit. But they made the gumbo. Gumbo was made for leftovers. So they were using their leftovers. They were using whatever they could afford to put in that gumbo. And that's how a lot of the dishes were created, whatever I could afford. Let's take a little peek in that pot. You can see the onions cooking down. Now you got to be careful. Like I said, I'm using olive oil tonight. You really have to watch your heat on this because olive oil will burn. So I'm taking my time with this, but it's going to give it a good flavor. Now pasta. I'm going to use a whole wheat pasta because that's just my preference. After I finish this sauce, I'm going to put it over whole wheat pasta. What's the difference? Main difference between whole wheat pasta and white pasta? Actually, the fiber content. When we strip the wheat of all the hard stuff off of it, and we wind up with a refined wheat, a white flour, that's removed a lot of the fiber out of it. But besides that, everything else is about the same. But your fiber content, and today's world, as we get older, they're saying that eat more fiber, eat more fiber. There's your brown pasta. If you think, oh man, I don't think I would eat brown pasta, once you put this tomato sauce over it, you can put your shoe in the plate. It's going to taste good. I got my little stock. I love that sound. And that's just going to start picking up all that little green meat off the bottom. Now, what I'm going to bring in my celery, stuff that takes a little time to cook. When I do a tomato gravy, I love a lot of vegetables in it. To me, building that tomato sauce and all these vegetables have a little sweetness to it, and it helps tame that tomato sauce. And also, what I did, I took my andouille. If y'all familiar with my andouille, I've got the big round andouille. I slice it down the middle, and then I slice it down the middle again so that it comes out in little bitty chunks. So when I'm eating it, it just makes it easier to eat, and it cooks better into the tomato sauce. Now, you see, with a lot of vegetables like this, you're gonna have to let this cook down so that you don't have these big chunks in your stew. And another thing, I love. All right, Darren, thank you, brother. Darren said the best one to do it around. And Darren's from St. Charles Parish, so he's got to know. Because the smartest people I know of live in St. Charles Parish or from St. Charles Parish. Just say it. So, so I like to use carrots. Carrots bring out a little sweetness into the stew in anything you use. And anytime I have a tomato sauce, I love to bring carrots in. I gotta watch this pot wants to start turning on me now. All right, rolling. So what we're cooking tonight, we're actually gonna have tomato gravy with loose ground meat in it. Now look, you can make meatballs. You can do a spaghetti and meatballs, but you know you got to go in there, and everybody's gonna get a couple of little meatballs. And if you make them too big, it's gonna overflow your pot. You make them too small, people are gonna want to load their plate. But people eat with their eyes. You ever make meatballs? Don't make them too big because they're gonna go for 2 or 3. Whether they're this big or they're this big, they're always in their mind 2 or 3. So make them small and just eat more. What you say, Harvey? Where you at, John? Better known as turkey neck. Good old weenie spaghetti. Oh, hell no, turkey neck. Weenie spaghetti in my house meant my daddy got laid off. He had a pink slip, and that's all we would have. Spaghetti sauce and a weenie in it. Chopped up weenies. I ate so much of that, I had enough. Because when your daddy works construction, there's a lot of pink slips coming in the house. Between jobs. But those of y'all who like it, I think it's a fantastic dish. Let me just keep working this down. Hey, Jill. So what you're doing is, as we go down, we're just going to keep layering these flavors in. And this is the key to cooking all these dishes. It's the layering of flavors. Because if you rush, I promise you, you're going to leave some good flavor behind with all that rushing. And everything I'm bringing in, I'm cooking it down. I'm bringing the sugars out of it. Because as you cook it, those sugars are going to come out. And it's going to help that calm that tomato sauce down. And you'll get more of the natural ingredient, natural sugars in it instead of the refined sugar. A lot of ingredients on that table. Boy, you got that, Roland. You got that right. And you know, I start cutting, and I say, look, I tell myself, you don't need all these ingredients. First thing you know, damn table's full of ingredients. I don't even realize how much I cut. And I'm not going to let it go to waste. One of the things I really like is cutting all this stuff up. It's relaxing to me. A lot of people don't like cutting seasoning. They hate cutting onions or whatever. I love it. I love just sitting there, put a little music on, and it's very relaxing. And sometimes you just have to pour cold and calm your nerves. Okay. I'm going to take this stock. Keep bringing it in. Then we keep pulling that green meat off the bottom. Now, one of the things I'm going to put in this tomato gravy when we finish, I'm going to bring some eggs in. We're going to put some raw eggs in there so we can poach those eggs in there. If you want to put boiled eggs, that's fine too. One of the things my mom would cook for me all the time, she'd make a tomato gravy. It wouldn't have any meat in it. She had tomato gravy. It was a Lenten dish. It was cooked on Fridays. And just boiled eggs in it. Oh, hell yeah. Edward, what's up, man? From El Paso. Thank you, brother. Man. People from all over the world. Okay, let's take a look inside that pot now. You see everything starting to cook down? This is my favorite part right here. Get that sizzle going. And you're starting to get a little gravy build up down here, which is awesome, which is what I want. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this meat in. I'm going to bring my deer meat in. Ow. I'm going to put the camera back on it. You look good. You can see the green onions in it. So I did cut up some shallots. I forgot I have green onions in it. Well, yeah, Dino. Dino, I find you have 20/20 vision, looking mighty good. I like the way you see. You see, you just got to get this meat chopped up fine. This would happen because it was vacuum packed, so it kind of binds together. Diane Bruce, better known as Minnie. What's up, baby? You put boiled eggs in your shrimp stew. I know that. That's a River Paris thing for sure. Okay. Now, we'll let that meat cook down really good. I don't want to overcook it. Oh, if y'all can smell this right now. So you can put boiled eggs in your stews. You can put the poached eggs in it. I love to put both. You add some boiled eggs in there, especially like your crawfish stew, your shrimp stew. Or you could take at the end and just let the eggs poach in there. And it gives it a really nice flavor. Them eggs let out a good flavor in your stew. But once you put those eggs in, that stew better be done. Hello, Mildred. Okay. Now, what kind of tomatoes are they using to make tomato sauce, tomato paste? There's two different kinds. Of course, there's the Roma tomato, which is a really good tomato. It's got a lot of meat in the tomato, not a lot of seeds. It's got a little sweetness to it. And there's one called San Marzano. San Marzano. That tomato is very meaty, hardly any seeds, and it's got a little more sweetness than the Roma tomato. So it blends well with it. It blends well to make a good tomato sauce, and it won't have as strong of a bite because the sweetness of the tomato help overcome that bite of that sauce. Hello, Sherry. Watching from Berwick. All right. I don't know if I got enough sauce. Now, one of the things I wanted to show y'all, I'm always telling y'all how you could take a roux. A lot of people ask me, how long can you keep it? This roux right here is about 2 months old. This roux is perfectly good. I have no vegetables in it. The perfect color. And I just keep it on my table in the back kitchen. When I need a little roux, I just grab a spoon and put it whenever I'm cooking. So you can keep a little bit ahead. Just use flour and oil, no vegetables. You'll be fine. Okay. I'm just trying to get all the little pieces chopped up. Now, pasta came about 300-400 years before tomato sauce actually came over. Pasta was already in the European area. So, and that actually came from some conquerors that would travel and brought it to Sicily. And those conquerors were actually Arab conquerors. So they would come over, and a lot of people they're doing make pasta, and they would keep that in their bags, their saddle bags, whatever you call them, camel saddle bags, riding across the desert. That's something that wouldn't rot, that wouldn't spoil. while they're riding across. Got to take a sip. So they had the pasta. Tomatoes didn't come over to probably the 15th, 16th century when the Europeans started coming over into this area and trying to discover new lands. They figured the tomato sauce, it was always the debate whether tomato sauce was invented by Mexicans or like a Mexican dish or whether it's an Italian dish. They're thinking it's probably in a Mexican dish because when the Europeans came over, they were in that Mexico area. They had the Aztec people, and they were already growing the tomatoes, and they took those tomatoes back to Europe. So that tomato sauce was already being made there. But when they got to Sicily, it's really when it exploded and took off. Well, yeah, Keith. Oh, hey, Jackie. It's Jackie and Keith watching. I get so confused. Oh, man. Now what I'm going to do, I just want to taste a piece of this meat. I just want to see how much seasoning I have because I don't know what batch of dish sausage was made here. Some people like it seasoned, a little bit spicy. Some people like a lot of garlic in it. I think this is one with a lot of garlic. Ooh. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. Jane Bourgeois, what's happening, brother? Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah, this thing's spicy. Oh, thank you, Roland. It's good to be back. Now, just to let everybody know, and if you want to see it on YouTube, I am live on YouTube right now. Just when you go to YouTube, you have to hit the live button to see all the live shows, and then I'll kick on. Somebody sent me a text last week and said that the color was better. The colors were better because I think when you upload to Facebook, they downgrade a little bit so that it's easier for them to bring it over, bring it across. But when you go to YouTube, they're bringing it in very live. Why, yeah, Heather Nicole. In case y'all want to know who Heather Nicole is, she happened to be my daughter. Go ahead, Heather, tell them. Okay, I'm going to add a little flour to this and let that cook in. And that's just a tablespoon of flour. That's it, Brian. Going ahead with YouTube, brother. Oh, Heather said she couldn't find it. Anybody knows the trick on YouTube, let them know. I've never gone live on. I never watched myself live yet. But I know people do get on. We have a few on tonight. And Heather, did you go to Spuddy's Cajun Foods? Your favorite daughter who missed you on the hike yesterday. I knew that was coming. Okay, there went a piece of meat flying. Now I'm starting to build a little gravy at the bottom. That flour was actually starting to cook at the bottom. I'm on Facebook and everything looks great. Okay, Evan, appreciate that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Colors pop on YouTube. I was told that last week, Darren. Now, the word spaghetti, where did we get that word from? It came from an Italian word, and I'm going to try to say this right, spaghetto, which means little cord, little cord. But the spaghetti, as we know, probably came from Arab conquerors, like I said a while ago. All your pasta is made from durum wheat. So because durum wheat has more glutens in it, and those glutens, they're able to shape it. It helps it bind together better. But so if you're gluten intolerant or glutens give you trouble, you probably can't handle pasta. Thank you, Sherry. Ron said, be right back. What you say, Dorothy? Dog is one of our bowling champions. Okay. Dog, you got John watching with you? Okay, now it's starting to get a little thickness in here. Starting to see a little gravy build up in here. Let's go back and take a look in the pot. And you can see right here, there's a little thickness coming in. Oh, yeah. And this is part of the stewing process. Well, yeah, Brian, does it look better? Okay, now, let's go ahead. Let me bring my bell peppers in. I got so much stuff up here, I don't know what to bring in next. So confused. I see I have shallots cooked over here. I'm not going to bring in any shallots in because I've got a lot of green onion as meat. So I don't want to overload it. About the same. Okay, Brian. All right. Let's take a look in that pot. And you'll see when I bring these tomatoes in. So there's my tomatoes. And the rotel. Now it's really starting to come around. Man, I'm going so far. I'm going so hard. I got food flying all over the place. So why was tomato sauce? Why was tomato sauce so popular in the Italian area? And the reason for this is there were a lot of poor people and they really couldn't afford a lot of good meats or good foods. So the food that they had, they used the tomato sauce to give it flavor. And this is why, we're going hundreds of years back, maybe thousands of years back. But this is why tomato sauce was a cheap way to make your food just have flavor. You think about that, our ancestors, we didn't use tomato sauce, we used roux. Make a roux, put your favorite meat in it. It could be the cheapest meat you want. But if you cook it down enough, it's going to make a great stew. Kind of the same principle. Oh, yeah. I want to let this go on a little while. So make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Now, one of the things I'm going to bring in a little thyme and a little oregano. In my stock, I've already put in the bay leaf. So we had the bay leaf in there. Instead of having bay leaf floating around, I put them in my stock so I don't have to worry about picking them out. Well, yeah, Rocky. Rocky, what them Tigers doing this weekend? Sharon. Some more of my St. Rose people. All right. Letting this come around. Y'all, we got a sandwich being ready to get made right here. Now, one of the biggest people to promote pasta, believe it or not, was Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was way ahead of his time. He wasn't just president of the United States. He would grow stuff like okra. He was instrumental in getting pasta brought over from Europe because when he went over there, he really liked it. So he brought it over. He was instrumental in getting one of the first pasta machines brought over here. So he was kind of like a forward thinker with all this stuff. And in New Orleans, pasta factories, we probably had more pasta factories than anywhere in the United States, except maybe somewhere along the East Coast. New Orleans was heavy with pasta factories at one time. Made a lot of pasta, and a lot of pasta products went out of New Orleans. Exactly where Progresso came from. And there's pictures. They would make the pasta. I think about border health regulations right now. They would make the pasta, hang it on these racks, and roll it outside to dry. Times are so much different. Yeah, I hope so, Rock. I hope they can win too. Y'all, I got to try this. I just got to try this. Brian, see, Spuddy, how long you been on YouTube? This is my second show on YouTube. Mm. I haven't put the tomato sauce in. This thing is ready. All right, that's a nice show. We done. Man, this is ready to put over pasta right now. You can take this right here as it is and actually make a dish with it. This is right here. Right now, we go make a sandwich with it. You can put it on rice. You can put it on pasta. Put it on quinoa. Put it on your oatmeal in the morning. Now, I'm going to add a little hot sauce. Oh, yeah, Brian, I will, brother. And look, that Spuddy's Cajun Foods channel, go out there and subscribe to that channel because I need to build it up. And one of the things I like to put in my pasta sauces, a little spicy V8. You won't see me bringing many canned goods of any, anything not natural in here. But hell, I drink a V8 almost every day. So I figured it can go in my pasta. Well, almost all of it. And I like that. I like that spicy one. I call it a Virgin Bloody Mary. So where are most of our tomatoes produced? In the United States, California produces about 90% of the tomatoes grown in the United States. And it's getting to be a time, a month, probably less than a month from now, we're gonna start getting our local tomatoes ready to eat, which is always our favorite. I grew up working for an Italian truck farmer, picking tomatoes, and it's just no different, no better flavor than those fresh homegrown tomatoes that we grew in the river parishes. And I got a friend of mine. During the off season, when we're not picking out the garden, he actually has his hot houses. He picks tomatoes probably 6-7 months out the year. His name is Gail Rome, and it's Rome Tomatoes in Romeville. And you can buy tomatoes. He grows them in his hothouse, but in the summertime he doesn't grow them because that's when everybody has them. And man, does he have some good tomatoes! And man, he's just like some of the best people you're ever gonna meet. Oh, yeah, Michael, spicy V8 better than Bloody Mary. Oh, hell, you got that right, brother. You got that right. Hell, I just stick a piece of celery in there and make believe I'm drinking a V8 every day. Okay, now, but before I bring this tomato sauce, let's try this one more time. Damn, this is good. Okay. Y'all know I'm not going to let this go to waste. Now, tomato sauce just has to cook now. We just have to let it cook. Now, this right here is going to be a very meaty sauce. Cooking this for me, I don't need to cook a whole pot. So just for me, I'm going to have a lot of meat in this thing. If I was going to cook for 20 people, well, I'd feed 10 of them. Hey, Cindy. Oh, thank you, Cindy. Cindy said, it's so good to see me here. I'm back. Now, one of the things they make with tomatoes, ketchup. Where did ketchup come from? Well, way back, as far back as 300 BC, the Chinese in China were actually making something called ketchup. Not what you think it is. I got to read this. Fish entrails, meat byproducts, and soybeans. All this was fermented. And this is what they call ketchup. Sounds delicious, huh? Sounds fantastic. But they had a guy of 1812, his name was James Meese. And he called the tomato the love apple. Because you see, when tomatoes first got to Europe, people were kind of scared of them. They were really scared of them. It took a little while to get this going. But James Meese, from the United States, of course, in 1812, he took some tomato pulp, spices, and brandy. And he had no vinegar and no sugar in it. And that was the first ketchup. Hell, if it had brandy in it, it should have been good. Now, here's the thing. Now that we bought the tomato, what'd you say, Ronald? My brother from another mother. Man, it's been a long time, my brother. So, Brian, I'm going to upload them, the videos, as I make them now. The other ones, they're pretty much gone. Facebook is taking a lot of those old videos and wiping them out. So that's why I wanted to start fresh. We're gonna make a fresh start and just gradually just upload these videos to YouTube. Well, yeah, Randy, bro. Randy said he's seeing the French bread. Oh, hell yeah, you know that spotty dance is coming. Now we're making a spaghetti, tomato gravy with some, I call it loose ground meat. This is some deer sausage. When I make deer sausage, I'm talking a lot of people when they make deer sausage, don't make everything sausage. I've gotten people going where they'll make 30% deer sausage and make the rest ground meat. What can you cook with sausage? Sausage. That's basically what you're going to have, a piece of sausage. You could put sausage in this tomato gravy if you want it. But when you make packs of ground meat, you can make any dish in the world. Hamburgers, hamburger steak, gravies with your ground meat in it. You can make meatloaf. There's so many dishes, so many more dishes that you can make with the ground meat. So I've turned a lot of people on into doing this. And it's probably gonna last longer. Because when you vacuum pack it, I can flatten those packs out pretty good, and it's gonna make a better seal. Whereas when you do the sausage, it's gotta pull a vacuum in between. You curl it in there, and it's gotta pull a vacuum in between all that. This is your areas that can possibly bust as they stay in the freezer. And Roland is a guy that cold smokes. If anybody doesn't know what cold smoke is, you're actually keeping your temperature real low. And tell me if I'm saying this right, Roland. Probably around 90 degrees, and you're going to smoke for maybe 24 hours, Roland. And it's a slow, slow smoke. Really, this is the old school of smoking. And what they would do, they would actually cure the meat. It would get a good, heavy smoke in it, and the meat would cure, and it would last. This is how they would do their meat back in the old days. So this is an old way of smoking. Hey, Juanita, good to see you. Your mom wasn't here last week. It was good to see. It's just good to see everybody. All right. Let's take a little peek in that pot now. Oh, hell yeah. We're going to put a little green in there. You know why? Just because. Just a little parsley I threw in, just to put a little color on the top. We have some more to put on when we finish. Okay. Cool. It's time to get a little French bread taste here. Well, first, before I do the French bread, I want to taste my gravy. I want to see how much seasoning this ground meat and the andouille actually put into this gravy. 20 to 24 hours at no more than 90 degrees. There's your cold smoke. Now, one of the things that I can't sell at, if I wanted to make some for myself, that's fine. But I can't do that and sell it retail. This is the way they used to sell it back in the day. But we can't do that anymore because Board of Health would just come over here and crucify you. Got a little bite, but this thing is coming along good. It's time to add the thyme. A little oregano, you know. Now, let's show, it's spicy. Let's show some loving to the cane farmers. I'm going to bring 2 spoons of sugar in there because it has a good little bite to it. And I do like my gravy a little bit on the sweet side. But I'm telling you, that deer meat, whoever I made this one for, they wanted a good kick to it. And that's what I love about making deer sausage is that no 2 batches are the same because everybody wants them seasoned a little different, but the deer come from different locations. And if you don't think that makes a difference, it makes a huge difference. What that deer is eating, the environment that it's living in, all plays the factor in that taste of that deer sausage. Man, this is looking good. It does need a little salt. I'm gonna add a little salt in it. See, I didn't bring much. Give it a little pinch of black pepper. Gotta have a little black pepper in it. Now, I've gotten away from putting black pepper in all my sausages. I had to, because as you get older, some people as they get older, their system can't handle the black pepper. And I always tell people related to this, because people always ask me, why is that so? In our days, when you sprung a leak in your radiator, you put black pepper in your radiator and it stopped the leak. If it stopped the leak, that means it didn't dissolve. That's why some people can't handle it. And anybody out there in my generation remembers doing that. Okay. Now we got to try this. We got to try this gravy again. Yeah. The flavors come in this pot. Unbelievable. It just makes you want to do a little dance. Make a little love. All right. I'm going to leave that one alone. Ronald, believe it or not, it's only 5 pounds. I'm getting younger, Ronald. It's not that I'm losing weight. I'm just getting younger. No, man, I'm just working out more. Okay. Time for a little fresh bread taste. Ronald, I don't know if I look younger, but I sure feel about 20 years younger right now. Oh, man. Be careful. Could burn yourself. Oh, man, I got to try that again. You know, you think we were talking about black pepper. Black pepper was like gold. Black pepper was like gold. They traded black pepper across the oceans and all. It was a heavily traded commodity. It was very expensive. if you couldn't afford or you didn't have the ability to get a lot of seasonings, these tomato sauces or the tomato sauces that you would make would actually give you food flavor because you couldn't get the seasonings or couldn't afford the seasonings for it. Woo. Oh, hell yeah. Let's give it one more little touch of sugar. Man, if you don't like putting sugar, you can put you some honey in here, put you some syrup, whatever you like to put. Now, tomato sauce wasn't referenced in a cookbook to actually 1692. So it doesn't mean that's when they started making tomato sauces. Just the first time they have documents of it being documented in a cookbook. Then the recipe for pasta with the tomato sauce wasn't until 1790. And one of the things when the Europeans came over, especially when the Sicilians came over and the Italians came over, they come over to the United States in the late 1800s, and they get here. Back in Europe, back in their town in Italy, meat was very expensive. Having meatballs in your spaghetti sauce is probably unheard of, and if you had any, they would have been very small. They get to the United States, and at that time, beef was not expensive. It was relatively cheap. So what did they do? They started adding meatballs and meat into their spaghetti sauces. Because it gave, number one, a great flavor, and number two, it was not expensive. That's way back when, because they're sure expensive now. All right. One more taste of this sauce. Now, I see I've got a good thickness in this sauce. I didn't have to bring the tomato paste in. I've got a good thickness because I added that 1 tablespoon of flour. That's all I brought in. Or I could have added some roux. One of the things about the roux, this roux right here is dark brown. That 1 tablespoon of flour had a lot of thickening power. This roux that's real dark, I would have had to bring in maybe 4 times as much roux to thicken this gravy. I would have got a nuttier flavor, but it would have taken more roux to thicken it. So the lighter the roux, the more thickening power you have. The darker the roux, the less thickening power, but the nuttier the flavor. All right, Roland, they're coming, brother. You got to take one more taste because once I put them eggs in, there ain't no more seasoning. Oh, hell yeah. Shit, let's get it on, baby. Well, while we waiting, I just soon do this too. Want to add a little bit of stock to it? I just remember, this is going to thicken up overnight. Don't make it where it's too tight because you're going to be adding water tomorrow. You don't want to add water. You want to make sure you put some stock in it or you'll start changing the flavor of this thing. Ooh, this thing got some piquant in it. This is loose meat piquant. This thing got a nice little piquant in it. I'm going to bring my parsley in. And this is all fresh parsley. Where you at, Norris? Good to see you, brother. Been a long time. Okay. Here we go. Now, the smart way to do this is to crack them before so you don't get any shells in. But since I'm a professional, I can do it over the pot. Guarantee I'll get a shell in this thing. I just thought it sounded good. Okay. Now, what you want to do now, Lord is fire. We don't want any sticking. And let them eggs poach in here now. And you realize when you're poaching this egg, all the flavor. So when I boil that egg, it's not going to put out the flavor that these poached eggs are, because I'm putting that whole egg in there. So it's letting out a lot more flavor into this gravy. So if nothing wrong with putting the boiled eggs in, I actually like to put both of them in. I just didn't have enough eggs to boil. I need some for my breakfast in the morning. So I had to make a decision. So I had a board meeting, and the chairman of the board told me to use the raw eggs. In other words, I went to talk to myself. Oh. Oh, man. It won't be long. This is ready. I was going to bring the pasta on too. And one of the cheeses I like to put on mine, this is feta cheese. Doesn't smell good, but man, it gives good flavor. I find when I get the Parmesan cheese and I get it shredded already, it doesn't last long in the refrigerator. About a month, it's all molded. There you go, Ronald. You busted me, brother. Are you going to cook the yolks loose and bust them? I'm just letting them cook. Creed, I'm just letting them cook in there. And I'm not gonna let them. I'm gonna let them go a little harder than what you're saying, because I would have to start taking them out right now. What if you want to do? Because a lot of people wouldn't like to have those yolks bleeding in their plate. So if you wanted something like that, you'd go in here and try to pull one of those out right now. And it's hard for me to do that. I got a fire coming up the side of this pot that's grabbing me. Okay. You see, you can grab one like that. And this is what he's talking about. So now you see I've got a live yolk right here. You see in that plate? Right here? So when I put my tomato gravy on there, that yolk is actually going to spread across. So if you're going to do that, you have to make sure everybody wants it this way. But that is a good question. And all I'm doing is making sure this thing doesn't stick. You see, I'm taking my time going to the bottom of this pot, right? Very careful. Okay. This is almost done. Okay. Now, let's go ahead, because I'm getting ready to turn this pot off, and these eggs will finish cooking actually as I turn the pot off. Lord. Everything's so good when you take your time. And this is why you go to somebody's house, you can have somebody that really loves to cook and they enjoy being in the kitchen. They're going to cook the same dish that you cook, but if you don't like cooking, it's not going to come out the same. You've got to put your heart and soul into it. And you can't be in a rush. Okay. Turn that off. Steven, I never heard anyone putting eggs in their spaghetti. I tell you what, I'm definitely going to do that this weekend. I bet it's a game Steven, you wouldn't believe this is a game changer. Hell yeah, I still got that spoon, brother. And I got this one and I have the old one. And I use both of them. So, Steven, those eggs, definitely a game changer. You see, I went ahead and bust that yolk in there, which I like. Make me go around in circles. Woo-hoo! Baby, make me fly high in the sky. Now, bring a little feta cheese on it. And look, you never had feta cheese in your spaghetti? Try it. Y'all, this thing is slamming tonight. Tomorrow, it's going to make the hair stand up in my head. I just went to the beauty parlor. I don't want to mess up my hair. Just went to the beauty parlor today. So, man, another good dish to cook. If you want, you can always add a little more roux to it. Give it more of a roux taste. It's really up to you. Because people out here want more roux than the tomato gravy. I found that. But when I'm cooking a tomato sauce, I want a tomato sauce. If I'm going to go to a tomato sauce with more roux, I'm going to go to a sauce piquant. That's just my personal preference, okay? Well, Mike, this for you, brother. One more time. We done ate a lot of French bread so far. Oh, hell yeah. What you don't do to sacrifice for a brother? Oh. Yeah. All right. Next week, I will not be here. I'm on a mission. That'll be the following week. Got a busy schedule coming up in May. So it's going to be, I know for positively we'll do 2 shows in May, maybe 3. But I've got some Cajun cooking experiences lined up called Money in the Bank. So next week I'll skip. The week after, definitely, absolutely, positively, I'll send the notice out. I'm probably going to do the green beans in because why not? Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Man, y'all have a great week. God bless y'all. Love y'all. And we'll see y'all next week or in 2 weeks.
Don't get me wrong, I love my life. These concrete walls, these city lights. What I'm about to say, it won't make no sense, but I gotta get it off my chest. There's so